Once upon a time, in a bustling city filled with noise and endless distraction, there lived a man named Marcus. Marcus was not rich, nor was he famous. He worked as a clerk in a small office, earning just enough to pay his bills and buy simple meals. But Marcus was unhappy. Every day, he watched others climb the ladder of success, buying fine clothes and expensive cars, while he remained stuck in the same place. He wondered why fortune had not smiled upon him. One evening, while walking home, he passed by an old bookstore. A dusty book in the window caught his eye. Its title read, "Letters from a Stoic King." Curious, Marcus entered the shop and bought the book. That night he began to read the words of Seneca, the ancient Roman philosopher. Little did he know, this book would change his life forever. The first lesson Marcus learned was that wealth and success were not about what you owned, but about how you thought. Seneca wrote that true wealth came from within, from self-control, wisdom, and the ability to be content with little. At first, Marcus did not understand. How could being content with little bring him success? But he kept reading. Seneca explained that chasing money without purpose was like pouring water into a broken jar. It would never fill. A person who sought wealth for its own sake would never be satisfied, no matter how much they gained. Marcus decided to test this idea. Instead of dreaming of riches, he focused on improving himself. He woke up early each morning and spent an hour reading, not just philosophy but also books on skills he could use in his work. He practiced patience, no longer complaining about his small salary, but looking for ways to add value to his job. Slowly, his boss noticed his dedication and gave him more responsibilities. With each new task, Marcus learned something new. He did not ask for a raise immediately, but trusted that his effort would be rewarded in time. Then came the second lesson. Control what you can, accept what you cannot. Marcus had always worried about things outside his power, the economy, his boss's mood, even the weather. Seneca taught him that stress came from fighting against reality. Instead, Marcus began to focus only on what he could change, his own actions and attitudes. When a project at work failed, he did not despair. He asked himself what he could learn from the experience. When a colleague was promoted before him, he felt no jealousy. He studied what that person had done differently and applied those lessons himself. Months passed and Marcus grew calmer, wiser, and more disciplined. He saved money not by depriving himself but by cutting unnecessary expenses, things he had bought only to impress others. He realized that luxury was not the same as happiness. One day his boss called him into the office. The company was expanding, and they needed someone reliable to manage a new branch. To Marcus's surprise, he was offered the position. It was not an overnight fortune, but it was a step forward, a step he had earned through patience and effort. Years later, Marcus sat in his own office, no longer a clerk, but a successful manager. He owned a modest home, had enough savings for the future, and, most importantly, he felt at peace. He no longer measured his worth by money or status. He knew that success was not about having more, but about becoming better. And whenever life tested him, whether through loss or hardship, he remembered Seneca's words, "Wealth is the slave of the wise, the master of the fool." The story of Marcus is not unique. The Stoics believed that the path to wealth and success was not through greed or luck, but through virtue and wisdom. They taught that money was a tool, not a goal. A person who mastered their desires, who worked with discipline and integrity, would always find a way to prosper. But more than that, they would find something far greater: freedom from fear, envy, and endless wanting. So if you seek wealth and success, start not with your wallet, but with your mind. Ask yourself, what can I control? How can I improve? What do I truly need? The answers may surprise you, for as Seneca once wrote, "Wit is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." And in that truth lies the real secret to to abundance.